Welcome everybody to our weekly energy update on Fridays, live on Skype and YouTube. My name is Jona Bryndis. I'm an energy healer, energy coach, and a visionary. And once a week we take the time to discuss these collective weather conditions, as I call them. This energy update is for week 8, that is the 19th till the 25th of February. Can you believe it? And we are all aware that this is a very auspicious time. There's a lot of really, really powerful energies going through our collective, and with it also through us. And this can feel very tiring for you. This can feel very exhausting. And yeah, just to point out the challenges that come whenever we are dealing with big weather, with big energies, quite discouraging actually. So there is a little bit of a conflict building here within us. Many of you have already felt this. We have been working these energies hard here at transCODES, the energy talk on Wednesday and the true self transmission yesterday. And when you take energies like this heads on, so you'll see this in my monthly calendar where I arrange energy sessions and talks and workshops around those energies, it will become easier for you to actually deal with them. So this particular time right now, these really, really strong full moon energies that we just had that made our body really, really heavy and tired. Don't think it's just you, guys. This is the problem, because we end up in our head questioning ourselves, getting into this tug of war within ourselves, and believe that there's something wrong with us. This is the basic message that I want to send to you all here, that whatever it is that you're experiencing as heaviness is actually something that will help you to grow more true with yourself, to become more yourself. And I'm going to explain this, and also why I called this energy update HEADSPACE. There is something about our inner balance, and I've talked about this last week, masculine and feminine energies, and they basically coincide with our physiology, with our left and right hemispheres. So our the left hemisphere of our brain is the part that is responsible for analysis, for logic, also for ideas, but mostly for assessing something and, forming a strategy and, building a plan and then go do it. So it's the more masculine aspect of our own thinkingness. And the right brain is really responsible for our growth, for our creativity, for creating the space to move forward and to actually have, an expression here in life. And this comes with a lot of feeling and sensing and softer energies. So your right brain is the creative and the more feminine aspect of you, and the left brain is the more masculine, the more analytical part of you. And you all know this. But right now, because we're feeling so heavy in our body and so heavy in our heart, we are getting pulled into our masculine part. We're getting pulled into this part that tries to analyze, that tries to come up with a plan, and that tries to have some kind of strategy on how to deal with things, and you won't be able to find it there. And why is that? Because these energies that you experience as so heavy right now, they're really here to show you who you truly are and what your true heart's desire is. And you can imagine that if you are residing in your headspace only, if you're in your mind, you cannot feel that. You feel disconnected from that. You do not know why you're here. You cannot feel a purpose for this life, for going through your struggles, especially those of you who are still dealing with some of the physical aspects of this pandemic. Either going through an infection right now or dealing with the long haul symptoms. You question your experience, and right there is a problem, guys. by questioning your experience, you're reducing it to just one side of that experience, namely, yeah, it's physically exhausting or scary, or you don't know if your body is going to come back to where it used to be before, yeah, or our freedoms have been taken away from us. We don't know if this is all going to come back. We don't know yet. All right. So the reason why I called this big energies is because these new energies, these new directions, these new sort of this new chapter here also for our collective, that is being cooked up right now, which means in the cooking process, you can't really know yet what the end result is going to be. So you have to trust in, say, your willingness to know what it is that you want, how you want it to taste. I have this a lot when I cook, because I don't really like cooking with recipes, and yet I use recipes sometimes as a foundation for something, and then I add my preferences, my favorites to it. All right, and this is kind of like what these collective energies do for us right now. They're showing us, basically where we get stuck, where we are limited, and it never feels good to match or to meet these limits of growth, yeah, where we feel like, okay, if I keep doing the way I have been doing this in the past, I won't really grow. And that is what you're feeling right now. You're feeling that you at the end of your wits. So whatever it is that you can cook up with the analytical part of you, with the part in you that tries to prognosticate sort of the future based on the past, you will not be able to see this through. You have to move into your heart space, which activates the right part, the right hemisphere of your brain, yeah, that brings in space, that brings in vision, that brings in the more intuitive part of you that is just as important as the analytical part. And it just so happens, and you can call it patriarchy or whatever, it's not a political problem. It just so happens that our societies have been heavily relying on this analytical part to our demise, as we could see in these past 2 years, where we were supposed to go by the science, go by the facts, etc. And we've experienced how making decisions just based on stats, for example, can be very misleading, because you sometimes lose the bigger picture. So in these last weeks, we have been working on moving into the greater picture and letting go of, what the right way is, or, what we see as good or bad, or right or wrong. Okay, so we have to let go of that, because if we only look at life that way, we will not be able to fully experience ourselves according to our higher potential. We will make it in this world, we'll survive, yeah, our ego is there to help us to survive, but it's not there for us to feel fulfilled, or to enter growth, or to feel loved and cared for. That's not the job of the ego. And so the connection here with this analytical part and more masculine energy in us and our ego is that in our societies it has been favored to act that way. And that is now coming to a, if you will, new cycle, where we have been clearly able to observe that if we just go by this, sort of what the plan is, yeah, what you're supposed to do, what other people expect you to do, what performance prescribes to you, what the right way is, okay? If that is not verified from within, your inner energies are in a constant conflict. And most of you feel this conflict through this ruminating, through like getting stuck in your mind. And that means that you are too heavily relying on masculine energies. Yeah, so this may be a little bit of a jump here. We do lots of workshops and trainings to help you, do the individual steps. Yeah, also meditating and so forth helps you to connect with these two parts of you and helps you to realize what it is that you need to regulate this a little more. There are times where we do need that analytical part and that masculine part that drives us into action, that drives us into a doingness, all right? But then there's times, and this time is this time right now, where you have to recognize that that is actually not getting you anywhere. Yeah, it will frustrate you, it will disappoint you, it will make you feel like a loser or you making mistakes. And to regulate this better, yeah, to find more balance with this, you're gonna have to go into this inner investigation. Yeah, ask yourself, take an inventory. Okay, how have I been approaching my life, my relationship, my work, my making my living? Yeah, and where is the imbalance there? Have I only been looking at it from, say, a masculine perspective, where it was about going harder, doing more is what gets me there? Or has it been relying too much on your vision and your intuition without actually forming a clear strategy or analyzing what is and giving you sort of the right feedback to know what action steps you need to take? So right now, it's about us feeling that balance within ourselves. And the way you can feel this is through what many of you would probably describe inner peace. Like where you can go into a place of accessing your true source of inner power, yeah, that reconfirms to you or encourages you to stay with who you truly are, to really tune into your authentic needs and wants, what uplifts you, what gives you energy, what is conducive for you. And that's a softer process. And that means we have to rely, or we have to allow our feminine part, and with it also our right brain, to be involved more. And if we fail to do this, if we fail to, and I've explained last week how the ratio is, so for most women, most females, the initial sort of setup is that we rely 60% on our feminine energies and 40% on our masculine energies, and that would be sort of an optimal balance for healthy feminine power. And the same for men, where it's in reverse, where they rely 60% on their left brains, and draw sort of the balance out of really connecting with their emotions roughly by 40%. In this time here right now, and this is really what we are all feeling from a spiritual point of view, as we are striving towards more equality, towards more freedom, towards more truth, toward more togetherness and connection, we're gonna have to basically take this last hump, okay, that shows us how to become more flexible between those two main fundamental powers within ourselves. And right now you have to move toward these feminine energies, but without negating or neglecting your masculine energy. So you actually, and this is very interesting for me, because typically this is a solstice energy. This is an energy that comes in the winter and summer solstice in reverse, where we have to step into the balance between two in order to see through what is coming next. And right now we're in the depths of it, which means if you are feeling that whatever it is that you're trying isn't really coming to fruition, then you need to step into this more feminine part of you that can allow you to take a break, that can allow you to give things more space, that can allow you to integrate things more. And if you're feeling that you live in this endless grind, and things are just, no matter how hard you try, just keep on repeating, then you have to step into your masculine energy and say, is enough. I need to do something differently. One thing at least Yeah, if I keep doing the same thing over and over again, I'm not really going to be able to expect new results. That is a masculine power. Yeah, to recognize that, yeah, sort of a common sense type of thing where you really ask yourself, what have you really tried to do differently? Yeah, so this is why we've talked so much about conscious manifestation here in these last weeks, because there was a really strong need for all of us to gain more clarity about who it is that we want to experience this life as, what our true heart's desire is, what really motivates us, what really matters to us, and especially for most of you energetically sensitives and empaths, what do I truly need and what do I truly want? Yeah, and to be able, yeah, to make a stance for that, to be able to show life, yeah, to put this out into the world, what it is that you stand for. And right now, guys, really take this seriously. This is decisive right now. This is all about decision making, how you tend to make decisions. And your job right now is to explore a new approach. Okay, you have to kind of force or discipline yourself a little bit to let go of the ways that you have been doing or approaching things. That's your ego. We all feel more safe or have that illusion of security when things feel familiar, and so we have a general tendency, a gravitation toward doing things the same way or feeling comfortable with the same people or the same kind of conditions. And that's something that requires you to step into your masculine energies and to say, hang on a second. I have been trying this, I've been trying to please others. I have been trying to do the best, according to expectations, or I have been really trying to present something to others that they want me to be, in the hopes that this would give you validation or security for life. And this isn't working out. Yeah, so basically, you have been trying to be the best you can, in a way where it wasn't really coming from the inside. It was coming from external. And that is biting you in the butt now. Because when you have a moment in time where you really need to be able to rely on yourself, on your inner higher power, and I'm not talking about divinity or anything like this. I'm referring to your inner higher power. Yeah, the stuff that can carry you through whatever the challenge is. You're gonna have to know that you can rely on these tools that you have that can get you through this. And that is an analytical job. That has to do with inventory, with looking at things the way they are, and to a degree, a reality check. But then at the same time, you need to bring in those energies that, or those approaches and those feelings, not emotions, but the feelings, that come through you, that inform you about what makes you strong, what gets you going, what is it that you truly represent here. Yeah, you may think that, as an ex-scientist, as a company analyst, or as a energy visionary and energy healer, I represent something, but you're probably entirely wrong about how you see me. Because I know where my power is, and that is not in speaking, or in writing, or in healing, or anything like that. My true power is that I can feel when something has heart, when something is coming from the heart, because I have aligned myself consciously. I've made a conscious choice. And this has nothing to do with emotions. This is extremely analytical, guys. Yeah, that's why my teaching methods are very systematic. Yeah, I have aligned myself consciously to only doing things that strengthen me from within my heart, within the bounds of reasonability, within the bounds of what is possible. And all these things, the knowledge that I have, or things that I've acquired on the way, most of which were aligned to my masculine energies. Yeah, They are tools and nothing more. I don't identify myself with these things, because the moment I do, I lose that connection to what can really empower me from within. And whenever I stump my toe or want to give up, or feel disappointed, guys, it's like this for me to tap back into this, because I have been nurturing this. Namely, what brings me love, what strengthens me to a point where I can temporarily let go of the fixation, on facts and stats and all that. I use both parts of me in a balanced way. I use my analytical abilities to see the world for what it is, as hard as it is sometimes. That's why I'm often the harbinger here of uncomfortable truths. But at the same time, also bring in my heart space that informs me, for example, about things that I call the confrontation with untruth, or the confrontation with restriction, the confrontation with lovelessness. These are very, very important parts of us that have to work together. You can't just want all to be positive and all to be happy. You miss out on very, very important aspects of that learning experience, namely how you can regulate your energies so that, just like how you can use the steering wheel to maintain your balance so that you're in control. And when I talk control, I obviously don't mean ego control. I don't mean the illusion of security. I mean that you are able to respond to whatever the challenge is from the outside flexibly and securely, without needing all these external things. And that then, guys, forms a stance in you. And that stance, if I just use my inner dialogue, sounds like, all right, this is tricky. All right, my boundaries are being tested. All right, this is something that is clearly not leading me into the direction where I want to go. I had hoped it would, but it doesn't. All right, I'm okay with that. So what else can? Oh, I don't have a plan right now. Let me go within. Let me connect with my heart space and feel what I can feel there. And sometimes it's very difficult to connect with my heart space. Sometimes I feel destructive energies, or and it's not just anger, guys. It can also be things such as wanting. This is something that I'm completely aware of. Just wanting to make clean slate and cut everything off, and to go into the extremes of things. And right there, I need to remind myself to slow down, to go into inner balance, and ask myself, okay, what is it that we have here? Okay, we got a challenge. All right, and that pisses me off, or that, disappoints me, or whatever. Yes, it affects my energy. Yes, it affects my image. Yes, it affects, certain things that I wanted to see. I wanted it so bad. I desired it to go through. And then I asked myself, well, wait a minute. Is this truly who I am? Is this truly what I want? Does this truly matter to me? What if you guys think that I'm just, talking blah, blah, and you don't understand a word that I'm trying to express because my verbal skills or my eloquence isn't good enough? What if that is the case? Can I live with that? Is that okay for me? Yes, I can. Why? Because the sincerity and the motivation, the true motivation that I have in my heart, that gives me the energy, that gives me the power, that gives me the endurance, that gives me the tenacity to do this every week, every day. All right. That comes from my heart space. And as I go, I get better at it. And trust me, guys, I have done and made every mistake in the book. And I see it clearly, and I'm totally okay with it. Because guess what? We learn 2.5 times faster through our mistakes and through the pain that it creates in us. I know this. This is my masculine side, my analytical brain that can say, oh, okay, I guess you just made a really important learning experience. Yeah. Because when there's comfort, when there is everything is kind of, sort of going our way, we have no reason to change anything. We have no reason to question things. And that's why it's so hard for you at times, when when things don't go as fast as you want them to, or when you still sort of try the same approach over and over again and you don't see change, is because at that moment you're not really stepping into it. You're just looking at it from one camera perspective. And that's really what this spiritual notion of connecting with masculine and feminine energies and the psychological rendering of that, really connecting your left and right hemisphere, what that really means. Doingness and beingness, they have to stay in balance. It is an illusion to think that this world is evolving through doingness. No, it is evolving through ideas. It is evolving through visions. It's evolving through imagination. And guess what? Right now is this time where you have to open yourself up for that, because that's a really, really important tool for growth, for evolution. You have to open yourself up for that, be receptive for it, and have the stance to say, okay, well, right now, things aren't going to move forward as fast as I want them to. And that's okay, because right now is the time, to go within and to feel into what it actually is that motivates you, what actually matters to you, what you actually want, what you actually need in order to get there. Can you feel that? Those are both parts of you united. And in the larger scope of things here collectively, where there is this turmoil right now and this confusion in people as to where things are going. We're observing that things are kind of backfiring a bit, right? That there's a questioning of our governments, that there's a questioning of the money, the companies, and the control structures, that we have allowed to run us. And that's a very, very important process. We don't have to, go out and try to destroy it all. What we need to do is go within now and ask ourselves, wait a minute, what is this even for? Say, democracy. What is that supposed to provide to us? What is connection for? What's that supposed to give you? Go a little deeper here. Step into it and go a little deeper. Investigate this within yourself. Train your own thinking and your own, sort of relying on how you perceive things. Train that more. Why am I seeing this way? Why do I keep doing things even though I already know that they're not good for me? Why do I stay in toxic relationships? Why do I fail to say no when somebody steps over my boundaries? That's a masculine energy that is needed for you to get this. You're not going to get clarity through just hanging in your vision and just hanging in your intuition. That is not going to work, because your behaviors, your doingness and your decision making aren't really clear to you. So if you don't have any clarity about how you make decisions or choices, you cannot really discern truth, guys. That is the bottom line. So for you to make better choices, more conscious choices, you're going to have to step into what is going on in your brain and how you perceive things and how you interpret things and why you keep doing things even though your, say, intuition or your inner feeling is already objecting it. Only so can you overcome this inner tug of war, this inner battle. And that is what you're up against, guys. You're not up against outer battle. You're up against an inner battle. And marketing and advertising and politics and financial systems know that. It is the easiest thing in the world to drive a person into their inner battle and get them so distracted that they don't resist on the outside, that they just let everything happen. The only thing that the system has to provide is an illusion of security. And that's easy because your guys' ego likes things the way they were, even if they were toxic. But just the mere fact that they used to be that way and that you kind of feel familiar with them gives you sort of a feeling of, oh, okay, I guess it's the right thing because that's how we've always done it, right? Well, right now is a new time, guys. The way we've always done it isn't going to do it. It isn't going to cut it in your personal life as well as in our collectives. So your job now is to gain more clarity about your own motivations, about your own payoffs, about your own ego. You have to learn more about how your ego makes decisions and step into that. And if you don't know how to make more conscious choices, by the way, there's a lot of energy talks that you can find here on my YouTube channel that walk you through the process. But in that moment where you don't know what you could change or what you could do differently, you have a different tool to your you have a different tool in you that can help you with that, and that's your inner feeling, that's your creativity, that's your ability to express things, maybe not in writing, maybe not in words, maybe you want to work with symbols, or you want to work with drawings, or you want to work with just your imagination, or music, or sounds, or tastes, or smells. Use them all, guys, because they're there for a reason. You're really not going to be able to tap into your higher potential if you stay with the same old. So right now is basically the invitation for you. It's an activation, actually, but you may feel this as discouraging or as exhausting if you hang on to approaching the way you used to approach it. It's an invitation for you to use all your tools. All of them. All of them. All of them conjoined. And just on a side note, guys, because I know that this has been part of the disappointment or discouragement that many of you here have been feeling over the last week or so. Whenever you encounter heartlessness, whenever you encounter people who are very cold, or systems, or employers, or partners, or whatever, and they show you sort of more or less the opposite of what it is that you want to align yourself. It compromises your integrity. Yeah, so many of you have had this sort of full-on confrontation with heartlessness here in these last days or 2 weeks. And you have to understand that that is a cue for you. That's a puzzle piece for you. Right there, when something compromises your integrity, when you're willing to drop all your good intentions or, your feelings or your boundaries, okay, it tells you something. It tells you how important it is for you, what an integral part that is of you. So if you meet people or news or social media or whatever, wherever you encounter that is heartless, you need to see this as an invitation to step into your heart and not out of it because you're afraid to make a mistake. That's the big lesson here for these coming days, this next week. You have to know what you stand for and make a stance for that. And it can only happen if you do this without an inner conflict. As soon as you are caught up in your head with all your worries and all your unknowns and all your pain of the past, that is lingering there, you're not going to be able to step into your power, be it your self-healing power, be it your manifestation power, be it your power to stand up for something. You're going to have to make sure that you keep them in balance. On another note, it's a really, really cool time to see who can do this and who can already represent this, not just in our own little world, but also in regards to companies, in regards to world leaders, and obviously also who can't. So if you take the behavior of some of the world leaders on the political arena stage right now, that are trying to double down and triple down on authoritarian measures and power, you can clearly see what their deficit is and why why they don't actually have a good future in politics, because this higher level of integrity that we are all evolving into is going through all companies and all governments right now. And I would suggest to you, because in moments where you have a hard time believing that things are going to change, that you start a list of names, start a list of company names or of leaders, local or global, of business partners or practitioners or doctors who have shown to be willing to make a stance for who they truly are and why they're doing what they're doing. We are looking at least 5 years of massive antitrust developments here in our societies. So we're nowhere near the end of this. But take note of those people or those companies or those, maybe organizations that are stepping up in times like this, because this is the time where we show our true colors. Guys, it's an invitation for you to show your true colors. And the way you show up and the quality of how you express that is directly linked to your inner congruence, to you knowing who you are. So don't let yourselves get, pulled into this fear of not being able to make it, because everything is evolving so rapidly right now that you don't need to know that yet. You just need to have the flexibility and the ability to access all your tools, and learn to trust in this now, because as you are also training your mind and disciplining your mind to become a sharper tool, namely by using your imagination and your intuition likewise, you're going to be able to find the right things to do or the right choices in a given moment. You can trust in that. You don't have to know everything ahead of time. It's not going to work. There is lots of tension now that's coming in around money. And you can't really use your old way of thinking, like retirement money and, investments, blah and blah and blah. It's not going to work for the future, because that whole money system, how it's being distributed, how it's being allocated, and how it's being transacted is changing right now. So all you need to know, if you have the beautiful problem that you don't know where to go with your money, then make sure that wherever you put it comes from this conjoined place within you, of having sort of a vision of where this could go, and at the same time, sort of based on facts. So big companies pay a lot of money, guys, to do this analysis of where, the future demands and the future consumer behavior goes, and this is how they do it. They partially tune into what your needs are, and then they start creating the desire to get their products. And you're going to have to break that cycle. You're going to have to look at, what do I truly want? I've been talking about this like a broken record. What has the pandemic taught us? It has taught us how important it is for us to connect with other people. It has taught us what truly matters to us. it has taught us that a meal with loved ones together at one table and sharing foods, a hug, a conversation with someone we can trust is worth more than what other people think of you or how much money you have on your bank account. None of these things mattered, guys, here in these last 2 years. You notice that? What truly matters is what warms your heart, what gets your heart going. And out of that, emotions are produced. And those emotions then serve as motivation. But you got to be careful, because the ego will take those emotions and, basically boil them down, simplify them all the way to seeking pleasure or maximizing pleasure and avoiding, minimizing pain. And that is a too simplistic, immature way of approaching life. You can get by with it, but you never really feel that you step into your higher potential. So the reason why I called this energy update here Headspace is because I want you to investigate your headspace. You caught in it unknowingly, because you just going by very, very simple parameters, and that is, oh, it feels good, feels bad. And I can tell you what makes you feel bad every time you have a conflict. From an energetic standpoint, there is a direct connection, a direct correlation. The higher the level of inner conflict, the higher your energetic stress, the worse your inner connection, the worse your choices, and the lower your ability to discern truth. Which means the decisions that you're making, they're not based on truth, and therefore your future manifestations that could come out of those decisions isn't going to be true to you. In other words, it will perpetuate the incongruence, where you're trying to do something or trying to accomplish something that doesn't even matter to you. So your job is to investigate this now, how you make decisions, why you make decisions, and what truly drives you, and what you would like to have different in your life. And then comes the simplicity again. In order to manifest more of what you truly want in your life, your decisions need to be aligned to that. You have to move into that direction. So if you feel alone, if you feel isolated, if you feel, that the people that you have been surrounding yourself with have been taking advantage of you, or haven't really given you the validation that you had hoped to get, or whatever, well, then seek different kind of people. If you feel that your employer has kind of let you down and isn't really giving you the payout that you deserve, then change your job. Okay, if you feel sort of grudgy at God or whatever, for giving you a body that doesn't allow you to be a professional athlete, well, then change your value system. Okay, maybe that's not what you're supposed to be. Okay, if you experience a frustration because you can't perform as well as you would like to, or as you think you have to, then go into this and ask yourself, why do you think you have to? Do you really think that this is all that you are? So this is about identity, and that's why you will feel this here, this whole next week, right here in your sternum, at the center of your chest, not your heart center. This is your sternum. This is, it's the part of you, that struggles, that goes into this inner conflict. And the reason why this is such a cool time really is because at the same time your third eye will be activated. So you're going to be able to see it from both extremes and then meet in the middle. Expression comes later. So fifth chakra is expression, where you actually go and do the steps necessary. This week is all about you finding the balance between up and down and left and right. So use this as empowerment. Feel into what warms your heart, and there you will find your answers for your head, and then you can make better decisions. Yeah, sorry guys for the today. Okay, it's obviously hard for me to find the right words in this space. We had a wonderful Connect with Your True Self free energy session yesterday, and there is a live recording if you're interested in how to gain more clarity. So we're basically going through a sharing of a participant who allowed me to show the steps. So it wasn't really all just that personal, because all these examples that I gave you here as to like where frustrations can come from, they can come from different sources, but the approach to change something and to gain more clarity in yourself so that you can make more conscious choices is always the same. Yeah, and obviously things such as energy healing and conscious energy work and meditation, mindfulness, and so forth, they can help you with that balance, because they allow you to let go of the thinking and the fixation on your left brain. Yeah, and then you'll find that the other things can come in. It happens naturally, guys. Trust in yourself. Trust that you have the tools already in you. Yeah, it's really just a matter of accessing them in an efficient way. Right. Thank you so much for listening. I'm wishing you a good time. These energies are actually lovely. They're very soft. Yeah, but you need to keep them in balance. Yeah, if somebody violates your boundaries, you're going to have to immediately step into the more masculine part of you and say, hey, that's not okay. Yeah, and you don't need to explain and you don't need to justify. You just need to really listen to your heart. All right. Thank you. See you again on Wednesday, everybody, for the energy talk. And please comment, please let me know how all this collective energy is going and how my rendering of it is maybe helping you, or how your experience is different. Yeah, so use the commentary. Share, guys. This is also a big part of us gaining more clarity. Yeah, if you knew what all the other people around you truly thinking and truly feeling, you would stop fixating on your head so much, because big part of that fixation, that obsession, that obsessive worrying and stuff, is that you believe you're the only one. All right, I really love this. Okay, so thank you for listening, and I see you again on Wednesday. Bye-bye.